So I don't have, oh, there it is. It's because my cell phone screen is cracked. Right there. Hang on a second. I'm going to spiral a minute. Or maybe not. I'm sending out links. Hang on. Oh, darn it. I should have made that public. I can go back and change it. Grab your coffee, tea. Okay, first, there's no chat. Second, the reason why is because I'm going to speak and I don't want other people throwing me off track. And I'm not trying to hear other people's opinions. You're welcome to give me your opinions at another time. It's just that I want to speak. So, and I don't want to be interrupted, and I don't want my words changed or switched or anything else of that matter. So, you're going to be my breakfast buddy if you don't mind. I need to make sure I eat. And I need to talk about some serious topics. Again, there's no chat room. That way I stay on track with what I need to say. This topic directly impacts me. So I guess first I should start by explaining who I am. My real name on my birth certificate is Holly Nancy Baglio. Yes, I went by Holly Gabry for the first 17 years of my life. My mother withheld me from my father, so I went by her last name instead of the one on my birth certificate. When I got my driver's license, that's when I started going by Holly Baglio, because that was the name on my birth certificate. And I wanted to meet my real father, which I met my real father when I was 18. Baglio, on my father's side, my father told me that he had mafia connections and there was a prearranged marriage waiting for me if I so chose it. But I did not. And the boy went off to marry a different girl. So, and also on my Baglio side, my one uncle was the Marines, I believe. So there are some military people on the Baglio side. My father, Philip Samuel Ross Baglio, 4 names. I believe he was first generation born here from Sicily. So, and I think that's where my family came from, was Sicily. On my mother's side, Gabry, my grandparents raised me. My mother would drop in and out of my life. My mother came into my life when I was about 9 years old because she remarried, and then she wanted a family, but she didn't take care of that family. I want to say this right now. The abuse that I talk about, the SRA, DID, MKUltra, mental, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, none of it happened at the hands of Baglio's, Gabry's, or my stepfather's family, whose name I'm not going to say for their privacy and protection. I don't really have contact with them anyway. So, what I talk about, the abuse and trauma that I went through and torture, I suffered at the hands of our government and military, meaning I was not abused at home and then came up with a lie about the Dumbs trying to cover up the abuse at home. I never did that. My grandfather and my grandmother on my mother's side raised me. Bill and Millie Gabry. Holly and Millie. No, Millie and Holly. Anyway, my grandmother was a military wife. My papa was in the Navy on a minesweeper ship in World War II. And if you look into the Philadelphia experiment, you'll see that minesweeper ships were used. My grandfather was a chef on a minesweeper ship. And he would come home and tell grandma all the time that the Navy would give him and the other soldiers LSD and marijuana just to see what it would do. And my grandmother thought he was full of malarkey. Well, he wasn't. Whatever human, I believe that my grandfather was an unknowing a victim of these human experimentation projects in deep underground military bases. And whatever he had gone through jumped and landed on me. And with things such as Project Looking Glass, they knew that I was coming. So I come from Project Mannequin. I was programmed with 5 of the IBIS male participants, from Project Seagate, Montauk, with the Sage Radar. Why am I drawing blanks? Area 51. I have been in deep underground military bases and above ground government facilities up in Canada, Nelson, Canada to be specific, UK. Now, I was born into these projects. I was not sold into these projects. I am an engineered human being, a created human being. Joseph Mangley, I nicknamed him Joe the Mechanic. Joe the Mechanic was the angel of death from World War II. He's who created me. And with gene splicing, he used gene splicing and then implanted the embryo in my mother's womb. While she was pregnant with me, she was in a physical altercation, and it caused damage to the point that when I was born breech, and I was bent in half, and my butt came out first. There's no chat room. I explained at the beginning of the video why. My programming and training for MKUltra and Super Soldier projects started when I was in my mother's womb. I was born into these projects. I've been a whistleblower since August 2016, 1 month after they murdered Max Spears, because I believe I was trafficked with him. I've been an ordained minister since August 11th of 2018. I've been an author since December 2019. I have the rough draft of my autobiography if you'd like to read it. Just email me and I'll shoot you back a copy with some of my drawings and also some of the corrections that I still have to make in the rough draft of my autobiography, but you're welcome to read it. I've been online since 2014. Heavenly Abba called me to put my deprogramming and recovery process up online because in real time, he fully cured and healed me of 169 altars that Joseph Mangley built into me. He healed me real time so other people looking at my life would see him working in it, see a miracle, be drawn to him, and know that he'll do a miracle for them too if they genuinely, sincerely seek him. Directly him, though. Not anybody else, not a church, but going directly to him. So yes, I'm a survivor of MKUltra and the Super Soldier projects, SRA, Satanic Ritual Abuse, DID, Dissociative Identity Disorder, SRA, DID, MKUltra. I was used as an Uberman, a super soldier. When I was born, I was chipped, mind controlled by torture, trauma-based mind control techniques. I underwent surgical enhancements. You can find on YouTube one of my playlists. I made about 16 videos under 10 minutes long, giving little fragments of my testimony. I've done over 200 interviews online on different channels and radio and whatnot, and I would like to keep doing it, but I have to actually write a letter to introduce myself to people to even want them to interview me in the first place. I've spoken at conferences, Hear the Watchman, over at Dave Daubenmire's, and I've spoke at Pillar University in Newark, New Jersey. I helped the dean of student, two people, Pillar University. One was the dean of students, and the other man, he was a head honcho. That other man, I forget his title, but he was the man who would go to different colleges around the country and decide if they could be a four-year university or not. So I helped him, the head honcho, and a dean of students set up a course. It's entitled Who is Yahusha? Also, I worked with another professor at a seminary college, and he set up a spiritual warfare course specifically because he heard my testimony. And as an ex super soldier, he wanted to equip his students on how to do spiritual warfare. And based on my experiences, he was able to put together accredited course for his students to teach his students spiritual warfare, because he said, Holly, in these universities and colleges, they do not have spiritual warfare classes. It's missing. I'm like, I know. You need to teach your students how to do freedom deliverances. It's real easy. Oh, it's easy. I hate those demons, but I'm great at getting rid of them. I was used as a super soldier. I have 37 years military service on black operations. Black operations. The public doesn't know about black operations. Special forces used to protect me and the other kids. They would stand guard around us so that nobody could get to us. I've noticed over the past 10 years, a lot of people have stolen a lot of portions of my testimony. And the worst part about it is they call themselves friends. They steal my testimony and start running around making videos, claiming to be a victim themselves, and they're not. Worse off, these people think I won't recognize my testimony when I hear it, or that I won't recognize that they watched my video first, then ran a video to copy off of whatever I did to try to fool their viewers into thinking they had altars. Oh, well, if Holly's acting like that on her video and she says that's what having altars is like, oh, I'll act like Holly and then I can fool everybody else. Oh, this altar's so-and-so. Oh, and now see this other altar. This is different. See, I have altars, guys. And meanwhile, the person is flat out lying. They're searching the internet, getting information off the internet, trying to pass it off as their own testimony. And half the time, it's my testimony they're trying to pass off as their own. Yes, I was used as an oracle. I don't even know how to say it. I had the gift of magic. When I was being used as a super soldier in the dumps, I had the gift of magic. I could just think of an entity and it would manifest. I didn't have to do any rituals. The Freemasons taught me I can create a dream, suck you into it. I can bust into your dream and change your dream. I can access you, take you out of your body and hang you off the side of a cliff on a mountain range you were never taught about in school. And you won't know how to get back to your body. Yes, I had all those psychic abilities. I notice how there's people out there, so-called victims or survivors. Oh, I was sex trafficked and all the celebrities had sex with me. Oh, but see, I also had altars and I was used as a psychic. Oh, yeah. Whatever Holly says, yeah, that's how I was used too. No, you just said you were sex trafficked. You were only used as sex. You were not used as a soldier or a psychic warfare soldier. You were used for what's between your legs, not up here. I know people that were in a mental ward, but when they come out of that mental ward, oh, I was used as a Montauk assassin. No, you weren't. You were in a mental ward being experimented on. You never left a hospital bed. You're not an assassin. And why would somebody lie about that? For popularity and money. Oh, but Holly, at least they brought awareness. They lied and stole, and you want to call that, oh, well, at least they brought awareness. Oh, yeah, there's a great falling away. People think, the great falling away is when people fall away from the truth. And in my past 10 years, it took me from the time I realized I had 169 altars built into me was December 2014. By the time Yahuwah, in Yahushua HaMashiach's name, fully cured and healed me in front of everybody was December 2022, the year 2022. I'm not lying. But I've noticed a lot of people on the internet always come to my channel and take from me. Apparently, there's a lot of money to be made and had by lying about being a victim or a survivor. And it's really easy to hide in this category or in this field, so to speak. When I escaped the dumps, no, I did not stop to think to bring my cage with me when I left. I just wanted to escape. When I escaped Montauk, I didn't make it past the parking lot with the other 5, 6 kids, but I tried. Even in Bohemian Grove, I tried to escape with a group of kids. That is a tough story to tell. I tried to escape the dumps out in Texas. I was successful, but I was by myself. I've given you guys everything I can possibly give you. I ask you to test the spirits in Yahushua's name. Where am I drawing? Like, I draw my dreams and visions, but I've also drawn for you. I care about the kids in the cage. You know who's always talking about the kids? Me. And when somebody wants popularity, what do? They talk about the kids, the kids, the kids. And meanwhile, they don't care about the kids. They'll get up on IG, oh, it's all about the children, the children. And meanwhile, they're lying about their own testimony. So obviously, it's not about the children. They think it sounds good, so they get your money, your energy, your attention. And then what happens to the real MKUltra victims? They're not believed because all the fakes, frauds, and liars. This is from an actual memory when Joseph Mangley was electrocuting me as a little kid. We were half dead. That's the cover of my autobiography. Nelson, Canada, there was a shootout because one faction of the government wanted to take us out of the other hands of, there's factions in the government, and one faction wanted us, and they had a whole big shootout. They ambushed us when we were in a convoy moving. Montauk. Montauk. Texas dumps or New Mexico dumps with the witch, the babies in the jars. The Skinner boxes. I think like in Nelson, Canada, UK. I'm not sure what dumps, but the Skinner boxes. Joseph Mangley programming me. This was a huge dump where it was like a Walmart super center with cages all over. Instead of aisles and rows of products to buy, instead it was aisles and rows of cages with like 5 to 10 kids in each cage, and they electrocuted us all. All these cages had screaming kids, and then by the time the electrocution was done, it got quiet. Nothing was moving in the cages, and the kids weren't crying anymore. And there were only a couple of cages where you'd see a hand flip up because a kid actually survived out of that electrocution. Talk about Ride the Lightning. It's not just an album name for Metallica. This is the second attempt. Oh, the codes. Let's talk about the fakes, frauds, and liars who are always talking about contracts and codes being sold. Now the chat room's turned off. As I said at the beginning of the video, please make sure you listen from the beginning so I don't have to repeat myself and there are no misunderstandings and confusions. We're going to get to that. I've been put through semantics training. I was trained with dolphins. Here's another memory of being electrocuted. This was the first attempt at drawing the map of my mind, those codes and whatnot, but we'll get to it. Here's another memory as kids were kept outside in a cage. I remember in this memory telling the kids, keep your fingers spread apart, keep your toes spread apart, don't touch anything. Don't touch anything, and try to keep your lungs full. Try to keep your lungs full and don't touch anything. Oh, we were wired to the teeth, and they were electrocuting us so bad that if we touched anything, our digits would melt together. I don't know, under the age of 10. little kids, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's a lab coat. I was put through 2 human hunting parties, one at Buckingham Palace. Here's a man and woman at Buckingham Palace that tortured us kids. I was chained in the dungeons, and there was this little girl that kept helping me to try to understand what they were putting me through, what they're putting us through. I was so damn scared. It felt like they were talking another language. I was in such disbelief. Here, they trafficked me on a commercial airliner. They had a passport. My name was something like Lori Renaud Schultz. They had a birthday of September 13th, 1975. Now, when I told Douglas Riggs about this, he played stupid and protected the Queen. He's dead now. He did not serve the same Alua that I serve. I found out when Sean Ryan started going live online, I found out through one of his guests that when the government wants to give you a fake ID and hide your past, what they do is add 1 month, 1 year, and 1 day onto your birthday. I was trafficked on a commercial airliner. For the life of me, I couldn't understand why the stewardesses didn't figure out I wasn't the guy's kid. I didn't look anything like him. We're going to get to those codes, don't you worry. That's a good, juicy part. These are missions and assignments. I was sent out to Peru and the jungle to get rid of entities that don't belong here. Oh, by the way, those face peelers were never aliens. It was always black operations. This is a drawing of the jungle. I'm going through these quick. This is the SSP, Secret Space Program. They lied just as much as NASA. And for the Secret Space Program, do you know where we were? In the DUMBs. DUMBs means deep underground military bases. Yeah, we weren't out there for the Secret Space Program. No, for the Secret Space Program, we were inside the DUMBs. Whether underground or under the ocean waves, we were in the DUMBs for the Secret Space Program. The same way that NASA has their International Space Station and a deep swimming pool and everybody keeps drowning. Project Seagate, that was under the ocean waves, not out there. It's different dimensions, not different worlds. Anyway, that's another story. Again, Secret Space Program. I've been aboard alien spacecraft, advanced alien technology. It seems out of this world, but I'm always talking about the kids. You know why? Because by me giving you my testimony is the only way I can go back for the others. Now, people have stolen this section of my testimony. When I was a little kid, there were me and 3 little boys that made a pact. The 4 of us made a pact. Should any one of us get free, we would come back for the others. And I remember some wise-ass kid going, you'd be so scared you wouldn't come back, Holly. I'd be like, I'd make myself come back. I'll come back. And each little kid, we all spoke because we were making a pact. And when it was my turn, I said, you know what? My grandparents didn't mean to lie, but they did when they told me about Santa Claus, but I don't blame them because it kind of made it fun, but it sucked when I found out he wasn't real. I wish I would have never known at all, you know? I said, you know what? This is interesting. I said, in my head, I had the Old and New Testament, our good book, pictured. Now, Yahusha is the only name you're not allowed to say in the DUMBs. You can say Buddha, Allah. You can say Isis, Horus. You can say all those other deities' names, but you cannot say your Savior's name. Even if you stub your toe and you want to go, Jesus Christ, you can't do that. Because if you do, it throws a wrench in the works of the alien species, alien being fallen angel. The fallen angel and alien are interchangeable. It's the same thing. Same thing, just packaged differently. It throws a wrench in their works. It hurts them to hear that name and they go running away. But when they're done recoiling, they come back to find you with a vengeance. So after they're done being hurt because you said Yahusha's name, they come back with a vengeance and find you. I know, because when it was my turn to make the pact with those three little boys, or four of us, I said, my grandparents lied. They didn't mean to. But you know who's never lied? God. That's the only person right now as it stands that's never, ever lied to me. I'll come back for you guys. December 2011, would not you know it. Now, I've been trying to find those three little boys, and I made a mistake. This is why you never say names. I was saying names, assuming who those three were, and I could have been wrong. And you don't ever want to name people in case you're wrong. But I've been trying to find these three gentlemen to personally thank them. So far, it seems like I keep striking out. But anyway, December 2011, those three little boys, now fully grown as men, came back and got me out of the dumps, and I escaped because of them. They told me, Holly, we're getting out. We're going to go on TV and tell the world what happened to us. What would you like to do? I said, instead of being a super soldier for black operations, I want to be one of those SEALs. I want to be a SEAL for God. I don't really understand all of it, but instead of being your super soldier for black operations, I want to be a SEAL for Yahuwah. I want to be one of those 144,000. Sounds military. It would be an easy switch. I'm only switching teams, not occupations. And then I told them about how I died March 2007 and Yahusha resurrected me. And then one of the little kids, the wise ass again, the one that made fun of me, you're not going to come back and get us because you're chicken. Yeah, that one. Well, he pipes up, oh, well, if you love God so much, why don't you marry him? Don't threaten me with a novel idea. Because 3 years later, and probably to the date, December 12th, 2014, I married Yahusha. Now, if you don't laugh at Catholic nuns, I expect you not to laugh at me. So 27 minutes, and I've only touched the surface of who I am. So my whole point for this, what about the real MKUltra victims and survivors? Now, we're not going to be listened to because all the fakes, frauds, and liars. Those fakes, frauds, and liars stole prayers from me, help from me, assistance from me. They didn't go through it, but they're getting the prayers and money, assistance, and friendships. And meanwhile, I'm like suffering alone. But I really went through the human hunting parties. The second human hunting party was Castle Amaroy. You guys call it the Mothers of Darkness. 2 of them I went through. When I woke up from MKUltra and these super soldier projects, December 20th in the morning, I went running through a neighborhood naked. You know why? I had severe shell shock and I was reenacting human hunting parties that I had been put through as a kid. Now, come to find out, there's a bunch of sick, twisted puppies out there pretending to have gone through human hunting parties. I don't like being lied to, tricked, and fooled. Maybe you do, but I don't. I'm not down with it, yo. Now let's get to your contracts and codes and the truth of it all. I need a moment. If your bubble is built on lies and deception, pop, I'm going to bust it right now. Oh, and if you think you're floating off in a rapture, yeah, that's false doctrine. I'll get out my bow and arrows, and you ain't leaving the earth and floating off nowhere. Now, fakes, frauds, and liars talk about codes and contracts and get ready. The contracts are going to be sold. They're coming up. You've heard these people online. Now, what these people are talking about, let's get to the truth here. Now, Joseph Mangley intentionally programmed 169 alters into me so that when he was done training and programming me with trauma, torture-based mind control techniques, as well as the other lab coats, handlers, and programmers, when I got older, they sent me out on missions and assignments. I was farmed out, but back into black operations. And that's when I started serving on Project Seagate. There's a MKUltra project for every letter of the Greek alphabet. I went through the whole gamut. I'm from Projects Alpha, Beta, Delta, Gamma, Psi, Phi, Zeta. I went through it all. Project Mannequin is, I believe the project where Joseph Mangley used gene splicing. It was human genetic experimentation, and I'm a created human. So, like, you guys, your mom and dad both had sex to conceive you. And then your mom was pregnant, right? Okay. In my situation, Joseph Mangley used gene splicing, put it in an embryo, then implanted the embryo in my mother's womb. Now she's pregnant. Sometimes this feels so surreal. I'm kind of drawing a blank, excuse me. Heavenly Abba, don't let me draw blanks in Yahushua's name. So what was done to me was intentional because I was to serve as a super soldier. And I was sent out on assassination attempts. I was sent over to Sarajevo, 91, 92. I was sent over. There's a war in Africa. I remember fighting over there. Combat, fighting, weapons. I was used as a soldier. Yes, when I was a teenager and early 20, definitely as a kid, a young kid, and into my teenage years. Yes, they sex trafficked me, but that was a part of my training and programming to be a soldier. I remember Epstein's Island. Epstein was chivalrous and nice to me. He was interested in my genetics and how I was created. I remember sitting at this table. It was made of bone. A really weird table. And I'm sitting in front of Jeffrey, and there's other people, J.E. There's other people around. But he starts questioning me, and his line of questioning snapped me out of altar. Because I remember looking at him and going, the cages? What? And then I looked back over at the handler. It was a handler. It was not another super soldier. And I'm sorry in the past that I was incorrect. It was actually a handler that brought me there, not another super soldier. It was a handler. And I looked at him, and I remember him just shooting a look back at J.E. And then their line of questioning started, and I just went back into altar again. It had to do with the gene splicing. So with the gene splicing, there's my biological father, Philip Samuel Ross Baglio, and I'm not going to say my biological mother's name. We have no relationship. Whole nother story, a whole nother video for that. And that's really painful too, not to have a relationship with your biological mother. But I cannot force anybody, including my own biological mother, to love me. But I have a different story than most people. Other people, they have a biological mother that's been searching for them for years, that loves them and cares about them, searching and looking. Anyway, so my biological mother and father's DNA, the Rothschild who paid Joe, the mechanic, a lot of money to create me, his DNA, as well as Anunnaki DNA. When the good book says work your salvation out with fear and trembling, about 2-3 years, I'd wake up in the mornings, even from a nap, in panic and anxiety. And I'd say, Abba, I'm not all human. Your salvation, it extends to me too, right? And it does. For anybody who wants salvation, it's for you. It doesn't matter if you think you got draconian DNA, or it doesn't matter. If you want salvation, you can have it. It's for you. What Yahushua did at his crucifixion applies to anybody who wants it, not just human beings. And now that you know that, and you come into contact with fallen angels, now called aliens, they could be saved, but they choose to walk in darkness. Very scary thought. So, I'm a bloodliner. Now, the Rothschild that paid Joseph Mangley a lot of money to create me, on technicality, you could consider him my father, right? That very man raped me, impregnated me. And then when I gave birth to my baby son, he was immediately sacrificed. All the royals do that. You know, what is it? Harry and William, all of them, their firstborn is always sacrificed. They all do it. Rothschilds, Rockefellers. So that broke me so much. That broke me. That was it for me. And at that point, they used me as a soldier. Sorry, excuse me. That broke me. It's no wonder why I screwed up the rest of my life so terribly bad. So, Joseph Mangley purposefully built in 169 altars, and the best way I can explain that is by this drawing. So here's like all the projects that I've been through. Say in each project, say in Project Alpha, right? Put me in Project Alpha. There's 11 levels of programming to Project Alpha. Okay, so I go through Project Alpha. I go through those 11 different levels of programming. So boom, right there, for each level of programming, there's an altar that Joseph Mangley, just like the way you would program a computer, you would program a person's mind, for lack of better terms. And for each of those, I gotta go. For each of those altars, Joseph Mangley had trigger words, code words. It would consist of letters, numbers, could be sight, sound, smells, hand gestures, and it was certain trigger words or code words. Now, these trigger and code words are the same across the board. So when Joseph Mangley programmed me, he was also programming the small group of kids, the 20 or 30 kids I was with. And so we had that whole room of kids had the same code words. These code words were not specific to each person. The code words were only specific to what altar they wanted to pull forward to get what level of objective. Like if they wanted something certain done, say a drug runner, they'd pull out tier number 3. They'd say the code words. 3 altars would come forward. I was programmed 313, which means at any one time when they would call forward an altar, 3 of my altars would come forward, but there were 13 levels down of altars. Does that make any sense? So, like, my code words are the same as the other kids in that room that were programmed. Like, they're not going to say, okay, Holly, these are your specific numbers, and then go to the next super soldier and go, okay, these numbers are specific to you. Now, don't share numbers. No. When my altars did not have names, The reason why my altars did not have names is because what was done to me was on purpose. When somebody's altars have names, that's because what happened to them at home. Mommy, daddy, girlfriend, boyfriend, cousin, brother, sister, neighbor, family, friend harmed them. And that trauma was so bad, an altar developed. But for me, it was intentional. So when Mangley built that altar into me, he gave that altar orders and directions and instructions. He could pull it forward with the code words that include numbers and different letters, or close it back up, put that tier of altars back to sleep and bring forward others. There were times I remember 15 altars being forward at once. You want chaos? Oh my gosh. Praise be to Yahuwah and Yahushua Mashiach's name. I'm fully deprogrammed and they can never use me again. I went through Janus programming. I went through it all. They were going to call me forward in the tribulation to serve the beast of the sea, the troops for the Antichrist. But not anymore because I made my decision and I'm going with Yahushua HaMashiach. So, I went through all these different projects and there's, well, maybe not 11, maybe there's 13, maybe there's more levels than that I'd be trained with. 169 altars. That's a lot. Talk about toy soldiers. Just wind me up, point me in the direction. I already got my orders. I'll take care of the rest. So these code words, right? Super soldiers, I've never heard of a super soldier having a contract. As far as these code words are not sold on the black market. These code words are not sold like on a stock market somewhere. Nobody's holding a meeting going, okay, now placing bids for Holly Baglio's codes, for her trigger codes, for those trigger words. Now bidding for Holly Baglio. Okay, done at $50 million. Now we got another person called Allie who's bidding on Allie. It doesn't work like that. And another thing, why is it that I'm the real deal, but I've lived here in one spot with no problem? I don't have to live on the road or on the run. And I'm telling the truth. But for some reason, the fakes, frauds, and liars, they got to live in their cars running all over the place. Where do they get their money from? That makes no sense. I gave my testimony to Trump when he was a sitting president in 2018. I gave him my testimony about Barack Obama, George Bush Sr., Hillary Clinton, all the presidents. I gave Trump as a sitting president my testimony for 45 minutes on X with the wonderful Miss Tiny. I love her so much. And Trump was there. I directly gave him my testimony, and I don't have to run for my life and live in my vehicle. When people start with that crap, they're lying to you. Or they're that mentally ill that they don't know the truth from a lie. Or worse off, you get a bunch of pathological liars. Now, Heavenly Abba has been bringing things to my attention, and I'm going to trust him 1,000%. And I don't care if that costs me 10,000 friends. I'm standing in the truth and for the truth. Now, I am ticked off that I was stupid enough to be fooled, tricked, and lied to by some of these other people claiming Joan Rivers raped them? When? I need proof of that. If a person is going to lie about a little bit of their testimony, they're going to lie about everything. I remember, let me tell you a story. I remember as a little kid. I remember as a little kid, I was watching TV, and there was this big scandal that broke on TV. Bill Cosby has a love child. Oh, man. That went on forever and ever and ever. I was born 1974. That must have been in the early 80s, something like that. And then finally, a long time later, a blood test is finally done, and it's proved that Bill Cosby does not have a love child. And everybody was like, every time some person comes forward to say that they're a celebrity love child, they're always a liar. Every darn time. That's what I learned as a little kid. That when people start saying they're the love child of Tupac and Left Eye and Bill Cosby and whoever else you got, meanwhile, the truth is the person accused their own biological father of raping them. And that biological father was not a rapper. Don't get mad at me. I'm not the one that lies or lied. Go get mad at them. If I get any backlash for this, I'm going to put up my shield. So you better guard your thoughts and you better tread lightly because I'm standing for the truth and Yahuwah called this to my attention. And I'm not going to ignore the red flags anymore. I've said what I got to say. And now you know why I don't trust people that call themselves victims and survivors. And that sucks because the real deals out there, they're ignored and neglected and never heard because the fakes, frauds, and liars are so much more louder. And they steal and they lie. And God, that Holly, she's calling out fakes, frauds, and liars. I'm not going to be her friend. I'm going to fight her the whole step of the way. Yo, you guys, okay, you got discernment. How come you didn't discern this sooner? And I know a lot of people come to my page to see what I got to say about some things that are happening in the world. And I'm not about to lie to those people. Listen. I didn't draw the 10 Commandments and make a tav because it looks pretty. Well, that's part of it. The main part is because I live by it. It's not for show. I'm one of those people that I walk my talk. I walk my talk. I don't talk and then my mind is far away from it. How about this? I'll just shut up and walk. You'll tell by my actions. I live by this. He's my perfect man. It's my covenant ring. I'm his. I wish it would work and keep people from hitting on me, but can't have everything. I love my vow of celibacy. Through my vow of celibacy, Abba has been able to bring back my innocence and purity. I was sex trafficked since I was a kid. I have value and worth now. And I'm sick and tired of these people getting online and pretending to be victims and they're not. And the worst part about it is when I need help, nobody's going to be there for me because they're all busy with the fakes, frauds, and liars. Oh, Holly, but they bring awareness. Yes, supposedly QAnon did, and look where that got. QAnon did not tell you anything different than I had told you. What, he's more entertaining? Because Q is more entertaining because they have drops. They don't give you their real name. They don't give you their face, but you're going to trust them. I give you my name and face and risk my life coming forward, and and that's nothing. All right. I'll tell you what. Yahuwah put his tav on my head. Tav is a letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and it means mark. No human being put that on my head. I'm not saying I'm one of the 144,000, but I am saying that I'm going to live like that intentionally because I would love nothing more than to see Yahushua HaMashiach's return, especially going through the domes, human hunting parties, and everything I went through as a kid. I don't know. I'm pissed off because I got a bunch of friends who are caught up in the lies and delusion of these fakes, frauds, and liars. And I always knew there was something off, but I didn't say. A lot of reason why I didn't say anything is because these people have a cult-like following. And you say anything different, you got 30 people jumping down your throat because everybody following the fakes, frauds, and liars, they're cult-minded. You can't tell them anything. I really don't know. My anxiety is really through the roof. You know, how do you think it feels to be me to watch some fake fraud and liar stealing my testimony and speaking it on a video, trying to pass it off as their own and watching hundreds of people fall for their deceit? Meanwhile, I know for a fact the person was watching my video right before they ran theirs, and they got there acting by watching me. I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe a word that comes out of Tori's mouth. Nope. I don't know what her name is. Tori, Allie, I don't believe a word she says. And now that Yahuwah gives me dreams and visions and he tells me the truth, I'm going to trust him. I'm going to trust Yahuwah. You think I'm going to trust those two? Are you awake? I trust only Yahusha. I stand on Yahuwah's promises, and I trust only Yahusha HaMashiach. That's it. I'm an actual MKUltra survivor, and I got to tell you, after this last stunt that's been pulled with these frauds, my heart goes out to the victims, because you real victims, you're never going to be heard again. You're never going to be taken seriously. And it's all because somebody's out there having fun, lying so they can get money and popularity. Are you following me? Follow me here. Stay with me here. Follow me here. How about this? Do not follow me or anybody else. Follow Yahushua HaMashiach. Start testing the spirits with prayer and fasting. I'm pissed off at myself for being so damn gullible. Well, Holly, something must have happened because they're lying and hurt people. You know, even liars, they need love too. Not when they're doing it for personal gain. And just because they're lying doesn't mean they're hurt too. And now you got to love on them, and your love is going to make them stop lying. They're lying to get money. There's nothing to fix except you closing your wallet and getting yourself to a better group of people. How much money are these people getting to be traipsing all over the country, getting pulled over 14 times? Who's giving them all that money? Yo, can you introduce me to the money givers? Because listen, I'm short 150 this month, and listen, my friends have helped me. They gave me some money, but I still but I promise, if you give me money, I'm going straight to the food store. I'm only going to spend $10 on birdseed. I like feeding the birds and the chipmunks and stuff. It makes me happy. I like paying a store to the earth. I'll go get food with it. I will not blow it driving around for no reason, making up stories. Oh, I'm being gangsta. They're being gangsta. Nobody's following you. Just like nobody's following me. Well, I'm already chipped and implanted. I cannot pick my nose without somebody knowing about it. Things you don't need to know about your hostess with the mostest. Who keeps Yahushua HaMashiach as the focus. Don't chop my slogan apart. I'm your hostess with the mostest, keeping Yahushua HaMashiach the focus. And I am live from Holly Television Mobile Studios right here in my beautiful garden home state of Nazi, New Jersey, Fourth Reich Rising. I want my HTV. You're like, oh. You know what it's like to have your testimony stolen? Do you? Do you know what it's like to have a boyfriend stolen? Okay, having your testimony stolen feels a lot worse. Actually, a boyfriend being stolen, that's a present. I wish girls stole my boyfriends. They would have saved me a lot of problems through the years. Sadly, the boyfriends never left. And if they did, they always came back. Nope. Having your testimony stolen is like someone coming into your house when you're not there, going through all of your private drawers, shuffling through it, and then leaving. It's like having a bunch of corrupt cops come in your house and search through things and they break and rip apart everything. That's what it feels like to have your testimony stolen. I don't like it. And I expect that other people should not force me to back fakes, frauds, and liars who steal my testimony. Whether you believe me or not is irrelevant. Don't jump down my throat or on my back because I spotted a fraud and I'm going to stay away from him. Or because I'm strong enough to say, yeah, I think Allie stole parts of my testimony. I could never watch her. I just didn't believe her. There was always something off. And yes, I always felt that she stole parts of my testimony. Her testimony changed so much once they met me in 2020 and started talking to me online. Her testimony changed so much. I couldn't believe it when I got on the internet because Abba gave me some dreams and visions and Jaguar Wright was in it. And this is going back a couple of months, so much so that the dream is starting to fade. There's other stuff going on right now. And anyway, Abba showed me something off. He showed me something wrong. And I remember waking up the next day going, Abba, why are you showing me this stuff about Allie? You know, I don't really believe her. And I looked her up and I saw how she was claiming to be Tupac's daughter. I was like, oh, gosh. Oh, gosh, no. Boy, I'm an idiot. She's not telling the truth. Boy, what an idiot I am to believe her about anything. I don't. I just don't believe her. I never did believe her. Shelly's convincing. But Allie's not. I'm just going to be honest. I don't buy the lie. Something always rubbed me wrong. And the reason why I kept my mouth shut was because Allie's got such a big following and they're all cult-like minded people. You say one thing they don't like, you got a bunch of cult-like minded people jumping down your throat. That's why the comments are turned off. I'm telling you, I'm not putting up with backlash. If I was good enough to fall for their lie, I should be good enough to tell you I don't believe it. I'm not falling for it anymore. Yeah, the part about if any of us get free, we'll come back for the others and the altars. The way she tried to act like she had altars, I feel she watched me and my altars and just mimicked me. Do you know how many women have actually been obsessed with me over the past 10 years? It's quite scary because more women have been obsessed with me than men have proposed. There's something wrong with that. I'm not ugly. There's a one woman, obsessed so much so they named their cats after my cat, Seva. Remember Seva? Yeah, there's some lady out there. Oh, this is my cat, Seba. Oh, get the hell out of here. They watch me and then turn around and mimic me, giving my testimony to other people, trying to pass it off as their own, and it's not. You can tell when somebody's really a victim and really a survivor. You can tell. There's ways to tell when someone's really a victim and really a survivor. And Allie never had any of those characteristics of telling the truth or being a real survivor or victim. She didn't. I went along with everybody because I'm a fool. And I didn't have backbone, and I was scared to stand up and tell the truth. Right, Alba? That's what you and I talk about in private, what I say to you in private. Yeah, I was scared, to be honest, because if I don't go along with what everybody agrees, then I'm out friends. Then people are going to have harsh words with me or give me a hard time. So I felt like I had to cover up the truth, but I'm not carrying that around with me anymore. I don't believe her. I don't believe any part of that girl's testimony. And I don't believe anything that Shelly says about MKUltra, because being sex trafficked, having a pimp and having sex with people is not MKUltra. You don't have altars with codes when you willingly have a pimp to go have sex. And if you willingly had sex 10 years later, you don't get to turn around and say, no, it was rape, because suddenly you feel guilty about having sex a long time ago. Doesn't work like that. Personally, I think the girl got other people's testimonies. I think she heard things through the grapevine. Yeah, so she was in a music video. Big deal! You know how many videos I've been on? Oh, excuse me, shows. As an extra. A lot. Anybody can be an extra. It's not that hard. You just go to a modeling agency. Say you want to be an extra, they'll put you in. I know, I've done it before. It's real easy. They used to call me up all the time to go on Sex in the City, and I'm like, I really don't want to do this modeling thing. And the guy's like, you're going to get discovered. I know, you just show up there and they're going to be on you like white on rice. Go, go, go. And just, it's not for me. I'm not the type to be poked and prodded at, you know? I'm a tomboy type. I like getting dressed up like Cinderella, but that Cinderella dress better be able to ride a motorcycle. So that's where I stand. I already got a spoon. So that's where I stand. I don't like being lied to, tricked, or fooled. I don't like when people lie about being a survivor. You know how many mentally ill people? Let me tell you another story. It's paranoid schizophrenia. When you think somebody is chasing after you or sitting outside your house waiting for you to go out to get your mail just so they can gang stalk you to give you a bad day, when you think people are gang stalking you and there's nobody there, that's a mental illness. Technically, the truth is, it's a demonic attack, And demons can gang stalk humans. And when demons gang stalk you, it can feel worse than human beings gang stalking you. But when you got these people, oh, I'm being gang stalked. They couldn't even go to the store. People were making faces at me. Oh, I was on the train. Oh, I had to take an Uber, but the guy was gang stalking me. I think the enemy sent him. Oh, Holly, the CIA's following me. Oh, look, Holly, they're following me. You see that car? They're following me. They're following me wherever I'm going. That's a mental. If you don't want to take care of your spiritual warfare and pray with fasting to get rid of these powers and principalities that stalk you, that attack you, that make you feel like you're being watched and meanwhile nobody's there. Okay, if you don't want to do your spiritual warfare and pray with fasting to get rid of your demons, then go to a doctor, because paranoid schizophrenia needs to be treated. The last thing you need is the internet. The first thing you need is a professional. Yes, you should not. I had this one friend. She scared the daylights out of me. I thought we were better friends. I thought we were great friends, but I was so wrong. This girl started to listen to my testimony, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, she's got altars. She called me up. Oh yeah, I've come to terms with the fact I've got altars. I was like, you went to the doctor? When did you go to the doctor? I just talked to you 2-3 days ago. I didn't say anything. You went to the doctor? That's great. No, Holly, I have altars, and I forget exactly what she said because it's going back a couple years ago. But she said something to the effect of, oh, well, when I was talking to you and da-da-da-da-da. Basically, this woman listened to my super soldier testimony and then self-diagnosed herself to have altars. For all she knows, it could be a post-traumatic stress disorder flashback, but there she is taking my testimony and diagnosing herself by it. That scared the daylights out of me so much so we're not friends to this day. Well, I would love to be friends with her, but she needs to get her head twisted on straight first. And she's got kids, so I hope she does quick before she screws them up. If you don't have memories of the dumbs, it's because you weren't there. Plain and simple. Well, Holly, when I was a kid, there's some things I don't remember about my childhood. Well, that's natural with anybody. When I talk about sections of my life missing, I have years gone. Entire years. And I have 2 sets of memories, one on the surface of the earth, this normal life, and then another set in the dumbs. I remembered the dumbs. If you don't have memories of being trafficked, it's because you were not trafficked. You can listen to people who were trafficked and have their testimony resonate with you, or you be drawn to that person for the topic or their testimony. But just because you're drawn to them and you understand does not mean that you went through it too. Just because you can empathize with a victim or survivor does not mean that you're one yourself. Just because birds of a feather flock together does not mean you're automatically go through the dumps. I remember these paranoid schizophrenics, a group of people. They would ask me about my spiritual attacks. And when I would tell them, about the incubus and succubus attacks, or like when a demon had manifested and I was running through like at night when I wake up and I have to call out Yahusha's name. I remember these old ladies. They need to get off the internet and stop living in their own imaginations. They need to go get a date or something, but just get off the internet. I remember these old ladies going, oh, wow, I have the same demonic attacks as Holly. I'm from the dumbs. Yeah, I must be a super soldier too, because I'm going through the same demonic attacks that Holly gets. So that must make me a super soldier too. I exited that group of people as fast as I could. Paranoid schizophrenics are people that think somebody's after them, sitting outside their house with binoculars watching them. Or there's people following them when they go from their house to the store, and then from the store back to the house. They think somebody's following them. That's paranoid schizophrenic. that is a problem you need to see a professional for. If you don't want to take care of your spiritual warfare with prayer and fasting on your own, then go see a professional. Self-diagnosing yourself and being online is not going to help you. I know this one lady, right? Lots of money. The people in her life are only in her life because they want her lots of money. And those people actually fight each other and with others over her money. This lady, I'm not using names or details. Now, this lady blatantly says how she went to a church to get a freedom deliverance because she was hearing voices. Well, the pastor starts putting her through, the church starts putting her through freedom deliverance. About 2-3 hours in, they start getting tired. You know, the pastor, evangelists, they're tired. They want to go and eat. So she even said, she goes, well, the pastor told me, well, I got 30 demons out. So these voices in your head, yeah, that must be voice to skull technology, like you're saying. So we'll just leave you with them. And have a good night. Bye-bye. So they cast out 30 demons, thought that was good enough. They got tired, settled for her excuse of saying, oh, well, the voices are voice to skull technology. And the church said, oh, okay. And called it a wrap. And that was her freedom deliverance. And ever since then, she's had voices in her head. Oh, these voices in her head supposedly take her to deep underground military bases to show her them torturing kids. Oh, and when she went to the zoo with that guy, she had a guy come out and visit her. It was a couple of people. She paid for them to come visit her. So this guy comes out to visit her. They go to a zoo, and this woman's walking around the zoo with one of her girlfriends and this guy friend. You know, they had lunch. They're walking around the zoo. All of a sudden, this woman turns to the guy and goes, they're showing me pictures of your naked body in my head. The voice to skull is showing me naked pictures of your body in my head. I've got to go. I gotta go. Bye. I kid you not. Because I heard the story from him and the witness that was there. She really thought that voice to skull technology was taking all their time, money, and assets to purposefully get naked pictures of this guy to flash it in her head. First of all, that's not how voice to skull technology works. Okay? Voice to skull technology doesn't flash visions in your head. Number 2, she's really sexually frustrated. And number 3, I think it is so grotesque and disturbing that a woman cannot take responsibility for herself and has to come up with things like voice to skull technology to say that it was voice to skull technology putting naked pictures of this guy in her head. There's sick, twisted puppies out there. I got tons of stories. I've been around for a long time. And you know what? I'm going to be around for a lot longer too. I'm not going anywhere. Even if I wanted to, it would bring me right back. I died. He resurrected me, brought me right back. I'm not going anywhere. You're stuck with me. And it's good. Because if he didn't resurrect me in March 2007, I would have still been in hell suffering right now. Why? Because I was not living for him. I was living my ways and what I wanted to do and what I thought was good, but I was not living for him. I was confusing a religion with a relationship. And you have a relationship with your spouse. Well, that same intimacy and marriage that you have with your spouse, you want that. Less the sex, of course, but you want that intimacy with your creator, who is also your savior and who is also returning to get you and I. He's going to get me first because he likes me better, but don't worry, he won't forget you. I'm kidding. That's a terrible joke. I repent. I rebuke myself. I'm sorry. No, actually, he'll get you first and be like, yeah, I'll be right there, Holly. You're tough. Hang on a minute. Holly, you need to work out some more issues. I'm going to leave you for last. Let me go grab my other kids first. I'm joking, Abba. I love my Yahuwah. Yahushua HaMashiach is my golden bow, for I am his silver arrow. Let me show you. There's one last thing. At the beginning of this video, I tried to start off saying who I am. But I'd like to end it by showing you who I am. I got a drawing for everything, and if I don't, I'll make it. That's my death experience as a super soldier. This is March 2007 when I was strangled to death on my kitchen floor and I died. 2 white arms carried me out of hell, pushed me back up in this world, put 2 breaths of air in my nostrils, made my heart beat, and then those 2 white arms put themselves at my back again and pushed me up off the floor. And the assailant finally got off of me. But this is who I wanted to show you who I am. Now, Yahuwah, when I was 39, turning 40, I turned to him. And I told him I wanted a future with him because I didn't see a future. I only saw a long, cold, dark tunnel. And I said, you know, if I chose you, I want a calling from you, and I want to know what one is. So he gave me a bunch of dreams. And the first thing he told me was that I have a song and dance in the Bible. And then he proceeded to show me Yahusha's return for a second time in my life in my dreams. And then he gave me a set of dreams. And when I woke up, I had a choice. I could follow my dreams or continue to live the way I was. Considering Yahuwah gave me my dreams, I started to follow my dreams, and then my dreams started coming true. Who does not want a dream to come true? It's the most awesome feeling when a dream comes true. I want to do that every day with him. I'm his silver arrow. And Yahusha is my golden bow. That's who I am. His silver arrow, and he's my golden bow. That makes you and I siblings. That makes us family, babe. I'm kidding. You're like family with that crazy white chick? Get out. No. 9. You remember Brooke Federline? In 2019, a bunch of plastic Christians stopped me from calling her out after Yahuwah told me to do so. But Holly, it's going to cause a divide. Yeah, but she's lying to everybody. She's not leading you to Yahusha. She's lying to you and me. I don't know, guys. I don't know. See, I don't know how to love liars. I don't know how to love a liar, and I'm not trying to learn. Straight up. Hey, listen. My God is God of everything. He's not a God of love. He's a God of everything. He created everything. He created anger, wrath, vengeance, spite, sadness, depression, not just love. He is an Alua of everything. To say he's only an Alua of love, well, you're chopping off everything else that he is, too. My heavenly Abba tells me the truth. He doesn't lie to me. He doesn't mislead me. He tells me the truth in all things, in all situations. Why do you think I'm here? I want you guys to start going to him and leaning on him directly, because when you do, you're going to see how screwed up this world really is. Now, everybody says they have the gift of discernment and they know so much. But I think the very people that claim that need to check themselves, because they're believing in fakes, frauds, and liars. And it's flying under their radar. You know what Puff Penis Daddy has going in his court? I'm going to tell you how Penis Diddy's going to win. He's going to win because of fakes, frauds, and liars. The fakes, frauds, and liars are going to wear you and I down so much that we're not going to want to hear about it anymore. And we're not going to believe anybody that comes forward accusing him of rape. I know, because I'm dealing with it right now with Yahuwah. I'll be honest, I'm not perfect. Hell no. You got access to my diary. You see the stuff him and I have to work on before he opens my door and I can walk out of it to face the world. I'm not perfect, but I'll tell you what, at this point, look at all the people, look at that one girl that said J-Lo was pushing glass in her, and that one girl that said she was laying on the table, and it turns out not even to be a picture of her. Now look at Tori. Now look at that other one I don't remember names. Look at that other one claiming to be Tupac's daughter, and she looks like Tupac too. She does. The whole, man, if anybody could have passed for Tupac's daughter, it's that other girl. Not Tori, the other girl. Tori looks like P. Diddy, but that's not her father. She accused her father of raping her. So at this point, with all the liars coming forward, and you and I have to think about it too. First of all, if you have a case, the last thing you want to do is be online talking about it. Number two, I'm sure Busby told his clients to shut up. Any other attorney would have said the same thing. So if anybody's on the internet talking about it, it's because they don't have a case and they're or they're just really, really stupid, not listening to their attorney. Now, I remember on these YouTube channels going, oh, well, Busby needs to make a statement. He's not answering anything. He needs to make a statement. No, he doesn't. I'll tell you what, if I went to an attorney to hire him for a high-profile case, the last place I would want that attorney to be is on the internet talking to everybody. I want his nose in my file. Thank you. Thank you, Victory. I'd want my attorney's nose in that file and not gallivanting on the internet trying to get on platforms to get views and popularity. I'd want him working on my case. He can talk about it once he wins it. Afterwards. And look at all these so-called victims coming forward. We get into them, our heartstrings get attached, and then it comes out that they're liars. If they're going to lie about one thing in their testimony, they're going to lie about everything. And I'm not going to waste my energy trying to figure out what part of their testimony they're telling the truth on. Give me the person that just says the whole truth right off the bat, okay? Give me that person. I know we all make mistakes. Sometimes we're incorrect. I'm learning. I make mistakes. But there's a difference between learning and just blatant lying. So by the time this Diddy case comes around, we're not going to want to hear it from the victims. And the public's going to wind up siding with Diddy going, well, you know, look at all the fakes and frauds coming out. And they all said you raped them. It turned out they were lying. You know, I'm done with this. I don't want to hear it anymore. Now people are never going to believe MKUltras because of all the liars coming out about Diddy. Now, any victim, whether you're SRA, DID, MKUltra, or just incest by your own family or raped by your own family, whatever. Now, the real deal victims are not going to be listened to. They're not going to be helped. They're not going to be paid attention to because all the fakes, frauds, and liars getting all the attention. And then you get invested with somebody for years and they turn out to be lying. Listen, I'm not going to be one of those people scrambling going, oh, but there's got to be some truth in her testimony. There's got to be something. No, she's a pathological liar. She got you right where she wants you. And I'll tell you what. I noticed something else, and I'm going to be honest with all y'all. Don't shoot the messenger, because this one will shoot back. What is this stuff about policyholders? Like it seemed like every 3-4 months, policyholders, get ready, get ready. I'll drop names if I have to. Okay, my insurance and policyholders, get ready. Something's happening. I'll drop names. And then when these people would finally show up to go to the conference, because you think you're going to hear them give you names, all you do is hear the girl talking about her fake eyelashes. It's not about the fake eyelashes. It's about the kids. Okay, when somebody every 3-4 months is like putting up these posts, we're under death threat. We're under death threat. It keeps you on edge and constantly tuned into them, constantly giving your energy to them. That's witchcraft. What are you getting out of it besides I got to pray for this phone. Oh, they're in a death threat. Oh, I better put up a post because they say they're in a death threat. Oh, there's something else happening. So you're in a ruckus. You're on your tippy toes. And they're sitting back with the Cash App laughing. Laughing. Because they've manipulated you and fooled you. I know. Everybody does this to me, so I'm going to do it to you guys. Yes, I am. I want to read you something. Because listen, I'm not a new believer. I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary with Yahushua HaMashiach in December. I'm not a new believer. And I really do believe that he put a calling on my head. And I want to fulfill that calling. Now, I know my Creator does not want anybody to perish. I don't want to perish either. And I take this to heart. I take what I do to heart. I might look like just some slob on YouTube running a video, but I'm not. I help people with spiritual warfare. I pray with fasting to get rid of their demons, and I can do it from my house. I'd love to be there in person, but I cannot be, but I can still do it from here. I can bind and cast away your demons with you. I can do freedom deliverances right from my phone or video call. I do baptisms by water and fire, bless houses, give people counsel, and get rid of demons. And we need to know how to do that since CERN is opening up all these portals. But I want to read you something. Holy Holly's going to read you the Holy Bible. I don't know about that, but wait a minute. Listen, I'm at your service. Sort of, kind of. I serve Heavenly Abba Yahuwah and the kingdom of heaven. So when you really break it all down, I'm at your service. And anything I can do to drive you closer and draw you closer to Heavenly Abba, let me know. You need a prayer buddy, something else is going on, you need a shoulder, or I don't know, you need ideas. I don't know, you just need somebody. I'm great with spiritual warfare. Give me a call. I can help. I'm happy. I believe that Thank you, Abba. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I know that Heavenly Abba gives me dreams and visions, and I'm more than happy to share them with you. I just have to have enough courage to tell you everything, because there's a lot of people out there that come to me and they've got darkness in them. And I can tell they're trying to fool me or mess with me. But I'll give you guys a prophet's reward. Anybody that I interact with, I wind up having dreams at night over. Like if I watch these people on the internet, I can tell by a video and a picture what I want to know about you. And what I want to know is, are you who you say you are? Are you in Yahusha or not? What I look for in people is different than others. My focus is on Yahuwah's movements only. I'm not watching anyone or anything else. I'm watching him. and what's of him and what's he doing. Because right now the kingdom of darkness is doing a lot of things and people are trying to pass it off going, oh, that's by the hand of God that happened because it's good. So it must be by the hand of God. And meanwhile, no. I want to give you prophets rewards. I want to share my dreams and visions with you. Let's pray together. Because when I lift you and I up to Heavenly Abba to pray, that's when he starts showing me things and telling me things. And like I got a friend right now that called me, and my friend's going through a hard time, and there's a family member of theirs in the hospital. And well, my friend and I have been praying together, and Yahuwah is answering our prayers, and I think my friend is going to get her miracle, and her miracle would be for her family member to come home and heal at home, and he will heal. So I've seen miracles. I like to be a part of them, and I like to give you guys prophets rewards, and you don't need money. You just need to get a hold of me, and good luck, because I got a busy day today, so I'm not really going to be around, but you will eventually get a hold of me. But I want to read you something. Hang on, I need a minute. When I go about my appointments this afternoon, I don't want to have any of this on my mind or holding me back or holding me down. I don't want to go through any of it. So that's why I'm releasing it and letting it out. And I'm not going to be a fake person to you guys either. I'm going to tell you exactly where I'm at. All right. The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, speak to your countrymen and say to them, when I bring the sword against the land and the people of the land choose one of their men and make him their watchman, and he sees the sword coming against the land and blows the trumpet to warn the people, then if anyone hears the trumpet but does not take warning, and the sword comes and takes his life, his blood will be on his own head. Since he heard the sound of the trumpet but did not take warning, his blood will be on his own head. If he had taken warning, he would have saved himself. But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the trumpet to warn the people, and the sword comes and takes the life of one of them, that man will be taken away because of his sin, but I will hold the watchman accountable for his blood. Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the house of Israel. So hear the word I speak and give them warning from me. When I say to the wicked, oh, wicked man, you will surely die, and you do not speak, and you do not. Okay, please rewind to the beginning of the video and listen to the whole video complete. And all your questions will be answered. Son of man, I have made a watchman for the house of Israel. So hear the word I speak and give them warning from me. When I say to the wicked, a wicked man, you will surely die, and you do not speak out to dissuade him from his ways, that wicked man will die for his sin, and I will hold you accountable for his blood. But if you warn the wicked man to turn from his ways and he does not do so, he will die for his sin, but you will have saved yourself. Son of man, daughter of man, are you listening? I hope I am. Son of man, say to the house of Israel, this is what you are saying. Our offenses and sins weigh us down, and we are wasting away because of them. How then can we live? Say to them, as surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, Yahuwah, I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but rather that they turn from their ways and live. Turn. Turn from your wicked ways. Why will you die, O house of Israel? Therefore, Son of Man, say to your countrymen, the righteousness of the righteous man will not save him when he disobeys, and the wickedness of the wicked man will not cause him to fall when he turns from it. The righteous man, if he sins, will not be allowed to live because of his former righteousness. If I tell the righteous man that he will surely live, but then he trusts in his righteousness and does evil, none of the righteous things he has done will be remembered. He will die for the evil he has done. And I say to the wicked man, you will surely die. And if I say to the wicked man, you will surely die, but he turns away from his sin and does what is just and right, if he gives back what he took in pledge for a loan, returns what he has stolen, follows the decrees that give life, and does no evil, he will surely live. He will not die. None of the sins he has committed will be remembered against him. He has done what is just and right. He will surely live. Let your countrymen say, the way of Yahusha, I rebuke that. Okay, sorry, I should be wearing my glasses. Yet your countrymen say, the way of the Lord is not just, but it is their way that is not just. If a righteous man turns from his righteousness and does evil, he will die for it. And if a wicked man turns away from his wickedness and does what is just and right, he will live by doing so. Yet, O house of Israel, you say, the way of the Lord is not just. I will judge each of you according to his own ways. I'm going to finish the whole chapter. Oh, shoot. Okay. Remember I mentioned that backlash? Okay, well, I think I just dodged a bullet and everything's fine sailing. Good, because I love that woman. I don't want to lose her because of how I feel or the decisions I make for my life. Let me finish if you don't mind. I want to read this to you. I gotta feed you somehow. Right? Right. Why do you do that, Abba? I love him so much. I'm sorry. He's like, I'm waiting. Keep reading. Sorry. In the 12th year of our exile, in the 10th month, on the 5th day, a man who had escaped from Jerusalem came to me and said, the city is fallen. Now the evening before the man arrived, the hand of the Lord was upon me, and he opened my mouth before the man came to me in the morning. So my mouth was opened, and I was no longer silent. Then the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, the people living in those ruins in the land of Israel are saying, Abraham was only one man, yet he possessed the land. But we are many. Surely the land has been given to us as our possession. Therefore say to them, this is what Yahuwah says. Since you eat meat with the blood still in it, and look to your idols and shed blood, should you then possess the land? You rely on your sword. You do detestable things, and each of you defiles his neighbor's wife. Should you then possess the land? Say this to them. This is what Yahuwah says. As surely as I live, those who are left in the ruins will fall by the sword. Those out in the country I will give to the wild animals to be devoured, and those in strongholds and caves will die of a plague. I will make the land a desolate waste, and her proud strength will come to an end, and the mountains of Israel will become desolate, so that no one will cross them. Then they will know that I am the Lord, when I have made the land a desolate waste because of all the detestable things they have done. As for you, son of man, your countrymen are talking together about you by the walls. And this is the part I really want you to hear. First, about the responsibility of a watchman, but then this is the second part. As for you, son of man, your countrymen are talking together about you by the walls and at the doors of the houses, saying to each other, come and hear the message that has come from the Lord. My people come to you as they usually do and sit before you to listen to your words, but they do not put them into practice. With their mouths they express devotion, but their hearts are greedy for unjust gain. Indeed, to them you are nothing more than one who sings love songs with a beautiful voice and plays an instrument well. For they hear your words but do not put them into practice. When all this comes true, and it surely will, then they will know a prophet has been among them. I don't want you and me tricked anymore. And I am an MKUltra survivor, but I'm going to lead you and I directly to Yahushua HaMashiach, which is the truth. And I'm not going to lie to you about who I am. I don't want to. I want to be a part. I want a family. And you guys have always been my direct blessings from Yahuwah. I love you and cherish you. I will not back down from the truth, though, and I will not run and hide anymore. And that includes running and hiding from my feelings when I see something's wrong. And maybe this is why Abba was showing me all of these explosions around Ali, because he was having my back. And in return, I'm loyal to him. I think the whole point of this is really, I think, for me to just solely rely on him, which I know to do. But I got to tell you, sometimes it feels surreal because he gives me so many dreams and visions and just even like thoughts throughout the day. Like I'll be thinking of something and then a thought or a feeling will pop in my head. A day or a week later, it'll come true. And it's like, Abba, he's like, well, I told you. I was like, yeah, I know, but I didn't think it was going to come true. I thought you and I were just having a conversation. I didn't know it was going to come true. All right. I got to get going because I do have a lot of pressing appointments this afternoon and I have to go. I remember before QAnon came along, people listened to my testimony. QAnon comes along and tells them nothing new, but they have more fun with the Q drops and they trust Q's plan instead of Yahushua HaMashiach's plan. And then people stop listening to the victims and praying with the victims and hanging out with the victims. Oh, but Q brought awareness. No, the victims brought awareness. We needed you. Now you're over there with Q. Now here comes another wave of fakes, frauds, and liars. Everybody goes flocking to the fakes, frauds, and liars because their lies sound better than my truth. Oh, but Holly, they brought awareness. Yeah, by stealing parts of my testimony. By mimicking me on their own videos. Great. And I'm not allowed to call them out, but they're allowed to steal my testimony that I lived through. That's a double standard. That's not fair. You can't tell me to shut up, but listen to them while they're stealing my testimony, trying to pass it off to you as their own. I never got my breakfast yet. I am beyond like the stress, panic, and anxiety. I'm just like, it's not beyond, it's bad, very bad. My high calorie, high protein, high carb shake with 4 eggs and a banana. Bring it up to 1,800 calories. Anyway, guys, that's the truth of the matter. And the reason why I had the chat room shut off is so I could focus on what I wanted to say, not be distracted, not be carried away by what other people say, because basically I made a decision. It's not up for discussion. It's not up for debate. Yahuwah showed me something about a so-called victim. Jaguar Wright was in that vision too. A bunch of people were in that vision. Actually, it was a dream. I woke up from a dream, and then I'm like, oh, but why is Allie in my dreams? I look her up online. I find out she's saying she's Tupac's daughter. What? So, guys, I'm not going to ignore Yahuwah. So, I'm not going to ignore what Yahuwah tells me. I'm not going to believe Allie over Yahuwah. Hell no. I serve him, not her. My loyalty is with the truth, not with lies and deception. Now I look forward to more investigations happening. And I know I've opened up my own because Yahuwah showed me the truth, and I'm going to stand with the truth, whether you guys agree or not. And you guys should actually be pissed off because you were lied to. You sent money, you spent your time, and you were lied to. Don't get mad at me that I've got a problem that we were lied to. And don't start making excuses for these pathological liars. Don't let your heartstrings get in the way of listening to your smarts. I'm telling you guys, don't let people trying to manipulate you with presents or anything decide whether you believe their testimony or not. On that note, we got some big days coming up. I'm going to be tuned in for the 19th and definitely the 20th inauguration day. But at this time, guys, I love you. I got to go. And I made a decision. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for your time.